Hello, hello. Okay, I can hear myself. Why is the... Okay, good evening. This is Gamey McFitness. Today I'm doing Zwift. I'm doing a group run, which is a Adidas themed charity run for like ocean plastic. It's gonna start in like 30 seconds. My weight is up, unfortunately. I put it at 229. I don't know why I'm still gaining weight. I didn't do anything super egregious in the last few days to gain another pound, but apparently I did. So unfortunately, I'm at 229. I have no idea which one of those is me. I guess it put me in Adidas gear. I guess I'm the one in the middle, probably. So yeah, I saw this Zwift run, which is for ocean cleanup through Adidas. So I decided to join this. I was playing a game called Windbound on the treadmill, and I died on level 3 on the boss, and it made me go all the way back to the beginning of the level, and it takes like 2 hours to go through a level, maybe a little less, maybe an hour if I were to do it again. And I'm really pissed off that it's making you go back that far when you die. So I think I'm just gonna give up on that game. It was a good game in the sense that I could get mentally sucked in on the treadmill and not be annoyed that I was working out. But I don't like the mechanic of having to start over and redo everything that far. And it wasn't that fun either. So I'm looking at a couple different games. I'm looking at Borderlands, Tales from Beyond, Tales from the Borderlands, which is like a Telltale type. It's not a shooter. It's like a story-based thing. As a possible next game to play. I'm also looking at Alan Wake, which is a quite old game. They made a remake of it with better graphics, I think this year or late last year. So I might play that. That one's kind of an action shooter, exploration, mystery thing, so it might be too hard to play on the treadmill, but we'll see. And then I downloaded a Egyptian puzzle game, but I tried playing that to see what it was, and it sucks. It's like an old MS-DOS point and click type thing. When they said point and click, I guess it didn't click in my head that it would be that old-timey. I thought it would be more Telltale-like, but it's literally like static backgrounds that you stare at and you click it, and then you move forward 50 feet and it's another static image. It's like you're not even walking in the world. It's like a series of photographs. Like if you were to go on vacation and with your home camera, you were to just like have a GoPro on your chest, and like as you're walking around the pyramid every 40 seconds, it takes a photo. It's as if you made that into a video game. So waste of $20 to buy that game. So, probably either Alan Wake or Tales from the Borderlands. I do have to make sure, because the control scheme of the Tales from the Borderlands is keyboard mouse only. But I was able to use Steam to map it to a game controller, a normal game controller, so I can probably do the same for my homemade Treadmill game controller to play it on the Treadmill, but I haven't tried that yet. So I'll have to try that later tonight, and then tomorrow probably play Tales from the Borderlands. And if I can't get that to work, I'll play Alan Wake Enhanced, or whatever they call the newer edition of the Alan Wake remastered. That's like a classic game that I've never played before. It's got sort of a cult following, I think. Seems to. I thought everybody doing the group walk run thing would be way faster than me. There's a couple fast walkers like me, I guess. They're probably in their 70s. Because they're presumably not obese, because they have thin avatars, although my avatar looks fitter than it should. Because I did go in Zwift, and I changed my name to Gamey McFitness, which is my Twitch name, and I made sure that the weight and all of my settings were correct. So I don't know why for this group run it's showing me as a fit character, not a chubby character like it normally does if I'm bicycling or whatever. Maybe for this Adidas, for this special group run where it's making everybody wear these weird black t-shirts, maybe they only made one size of them, so they don't show the fitness level of your character. I don't know. But I signed up for this run is 3.5 miles, which is a little over 5K. And so I'll probably finish in about 55 minutes total. 18 times 3 would be 3 miles. If you look on the left, it says I'm going to finish the first mile in 17:42. So multiply 17 and 2/3 minutes by 3.5. Get a little less than an hour. I'm not going to do the math. I might be able to do it in my head if I wasn't also running and trying not to fall on the treadmill and talk. This Birds Aren't Real t-shirt. Again, I saw the guy on 60 Minutes. It's not a real conspiracy. It's a comedic fake conspiracy. And I like that. I like the idea of being political in a fun way. Like, instead of shaming people who believe weird conspiracies or calling them idiots or whatever, you're just making up an even sillier conspiracy that people can laugh at. It's not a negative, hostile type of politics. It's like a silly thing. I like that. But I got a little, you can't see it, but I got a little food stain on it. I only wore it once before today. And also it's a little too small. So I think it's going to stay as one of my workout shirts. I'm not going to wear it out in public. I was debating if I wanted to wear the birds aren't real in public because I don't know how many people know that it's not a real conspiracy. Although it might be fun to do it just once. Just walk through the grocery store, see if people smile or if they react at all. Or if a kid points and laughs, like, this guy is an idiot. I just came from the grocery store and I was running late. And so I didn't have time to pee before I started the stream, so I might have to stop and pee. I spilled some like fruit, some mixed fruit of like pineapple, strawberry, grape on the kitchen floor. I had to clean that up and quick run in here and start the stream. I did a thing with the grocery store with the pharmacy in it where a couple weeks ago I called in my prescription because it was almost out for my acid reflux meds, and so I did the automated refill request over the phone where you just type in the prescription number and it said it'll be ready to pick up the next day. So I come in the next day and they won't give it to me, and they said it's too early, and they're sort of wondering why I want to refill it so early and accusatory a little bit. And then one of them says, did we maybe give you 2 pill bottles and you finished the first pill bottle? And it dawned on me that that was exactly what happened. But they had, I've been getting that prescription for years and they've never given me 2 pill bottles before that one time. So I didn't remember that I had the second bottle. So I went in and looked like an idiot. But it still had the refill in this computer system. So today must have been the earliest possible day that they could refill it. So they phoned me up and said that it was ready. Even though there's about I got plenty of pills, like a week and a half or 2 weeks of pills left. So I figured I better go get it, because if I wait 2 weeks, they might put it away. If it sits on the shelf for too long. It's kind of an annoying situation. So I went to the grocery store, and of course they didn't have the salads that I like. The Michigan Harvest salads. I figured out, it seems like if I go to this grocery store early, like lunchtime, those are in stock. But they're usually not in stock in the late afternoon. So I should have got up and went earlier. But I was tired. I slept in super late. I was worried about the stock market, and I have some Tesla stock, and there's that stupid Elon Musk sex scandal. I was worried that my stock would just plummet, and so I got up like middle of my sleep time when the market opened just to make sure that it wasn't gonna tank. But it didn't. It went down a little with the market, but It's not like it went down 40% because Elon Musk is going to go to jail or something. Hopefully not. I also wanted to look. There's a company that does the monkeypox vaccine, and their stock just about doubled late last week, and I wanted to see what price that was. So when I got up, I looked at the price, and it was still too high. It had gone up even more. But what happens is that with the hype things like that, they spike up and then they come down quite a bit, and then they'll either keep going down to where they were, or they'll sort of jump around and maybe go back up. So it was originally $7 before this whole monkeypox thing in the news. It went up to like $16 in pre-market and when the market opened. So I thought that's too high, I'm not going to buy it. And by market close it had fallen back down to 10 or 11. So I bought a little bit of it at 10 or 11. So I'm hoping it'll go back up and not fizzle back down to 7. Because I think a lot of the big countries are going to order a shit ton of monkeypox vaccines and stockpile them in case it keeps spreading. So even if it doesn't become the next COVID, which I don't think it would, I think the stock will still go up because the country's never prepared with enough stockpiles of anything ever. And apparently there are a couple, that company and at least one other company make the monkeypox vaccine, so it's not like COVID where there's no vaccine. It's just if it does take off, will it spread faster than we can tamp it down with the vaccine? And that seems unlikely, but not impossible. But I only put like a tiny amount of money in it. I might put a couple grand in it if I think it, depending on what it does the next few days. But I'm not going to put in more than that. My thought is if I can get a nice home run with it, like if it doubles and I make like $2,000 or something profit, I'm going to use that to buy an e-bike, like a outdoor e-bike, not a stationary bike. Because part of the reason I moved into this apartment that I'm in is that it's right next to all these bike trails and jogging trails. But then I looked at the prices of the e-bikes online, like after I moved in, and I thought, shit, I'm not going to pay that much. Especially I looked at the prices at the local bike shops on their websites. So they don't even have like the ones I want, and it's like $4,000 is like the typical price for an e-bike at a local bike shop. But I think you can, if you order them from like China and have them slow shipped, or from wherever they come from. A lot of them actually come from Europe, because cycling is pretty big in Europe. I think you can pay like half price, like $2,000. So it's a huge markup to just go into a store and buy whatever they've got. And I'm a little big, so they probably wouldn't even have one in my size anyway. They'd have to back order it, at which case I might as well order it online anyway if I've got to wait to get it. But it would be nice to have that and not have to spend the money. Just do a nice, quick little profitable stock trade and use that profit to buy the e-bike. I'll mention that if I do that. If it pans out, my trade pans out, and I'm going to buy an e-bike. I'll even talk about which e-bike I'm going to buy and stuff, because I mean, what else do I have to talk about for an hour? Every workout. Excuse me. I heard that COVID is sort of spreading around, but nobody wants to wear masks anymore. But I haven't looked. I mean, I don't watch the news like on television. I look at Google News maybe once a day. But I haven't looked to see like how bad it is in my area. So hopefully I won't catch COVID. I was triple vaxxed, and then I caught COVID in like January this year. And it was very, very mild. But it was noticeable. Like, I didn't lose my taste or smell, but for like a day, I did notice like I wasn't getting quite as much oxygen when I breathed, but not enough. But not so bad that I felt like I wasn't catching my breath. In that case, you have to go to the ER. But it was a little scary, because I don't think I'd ever had that even with like a flu, like a thing that was impacting my lungs. So I was breathing normally, but I wasn't getting quite as much air. It's weird. I don't like it at all. I can't imagine having it worse. Starting to sweat. So I'm going, the minimum speed you're supposed to go on these group runs in Zwift is 5k per hour, which is a little faster than I go when I play the video games. So yeah, I'm sweating more. Maybe I'll sweat my pee out. Sweat enough where I won't have to pee. Not literally the pee, but enough liquid that my bladder. I think that happens. I think that's a thing. Like if you're in the desert or something, you drink water. Like if you're tourism in the Grand Canyon or something. You can drink water all day and never have to pee. And I think even if you have to pee and then you start to sweat, I think your body will reabsorb some of the water from your bladder, like back up into your body and then sweat it out. I think that's a thing that can happen. I mean, the urea, like the waste part of the pee, is still in your bladder, but some of the liquid like gets reabsorbed in your body. I think that's a true thing. If I had a following on Twitch, somebody could Google that for me. Can you reabsorb liquid from your bladder by sweating it out? I always wondered if that would happen too if you were pregnant. Like your pregnant belly, all of the umbilical fluid, whatever it's called, amniotic fluid. Like if you were dehydrated in the desert, would your body just absorb that to survive like you were a camel? I bet you would, but it's not like a thing that Bear Grylls is going to do He's not going to take a pregnant woman out with him on Man vs. Wild, you know, and risk losing a baby to see if she can absorb some of her pregnant belly fluid to not dehydrate. I mean, it'd be a horrible... I mean, you'd find that out by somebody accidentally getting lost in the desert. It's not a thing that you do for a television show. Here's the Zwift birds. Yeah, I don't know. These group runs in Zwift, I mean, technically there's a Zwift companion app. I'm doing air quotes just out of frame. And you can use it to chat with people while you're in a group run or a group bicycling thing. But I don't know how many people do that. I don't know how you could when you're running. Like, how do you type and not fall? And you can do it when you're cycling. You just stick the keyboard between the pedals. Or maybe they do like a voice to text thing. I don't know. But the other thing is that the group runs only have like a dozen people at the most, it seems, because not many people run in Zwift. But probably 10 times as many people bicycle in Zwift. So it's probably way more social to do the group cycling than the group running. Excuse me. What else is going on? I did a comedy thing, stand-up comedy, open mic yesterday in Ann Arbor. It's called the Unclub. It's at a bar. I did order a chicken sandwich, which isn't great for weight loss, but it's not horrible either. So that could be why I'm still gaining weight. But I did pretty well. I was happy. The guy who runs it said I should be trying harder to promote myself by doing the open mics in the comedy clubs, which I've been kind of lazy calling in for those. So I marked on my calendar like every day that I need to call in to apply for the open mics at the comedy clubs. Because it seems like the local comedy clubs, they used to do an open mic like every Wednesday. That started maybe 3 years ago. They started doing contests on Wednesdays or have special like one-night shows from touring comics or roast battles, or nothing at all sometimes, or comedy class graduation shows. So they would do all of those on Wednesdays instead of open mics. So instead of having an open mic every week, it's maybe once a month. So you gotta like keep going to their website and mark down like which weeks you need to call in, because you can't. If it was every week, you could just make it a routine. Like, okay, it's Wednesday, I need to call the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase or the Comedy Castle to apply for the open mic the next week, and you can just make it part of your routine. But because they stopped doing as many of them, then it becomes not part of the routine. And so if you get lazy, you just forget. And so I've been like maybe 1 out of 3 I've been applying to. And it's harder to get them now because there's less of them. So there's probably 60 comics applying for 8 spots for every open mic, or 12 spots or whatever it is. So if you're not on the ball, you could get it maybe once a year if you're just half-assing it. But he says that I'm getting better, so I should be trying harder to do those and get noticed and try to get like paid gigs. So that felt good, that the guy thinks I'm ready to move up a little. Instead of making $0 doing comedy, make $20 doing comedy. Maybe $50 on a lucky thing. So I don't have any comedy things scheduled this week, but I might. Wednesday I'll probably try to do poker instead of streaming. There's an open mic, I don't remember if it's Thursday or Friday. It's at a bar. It's a show up, go up, it's called. You don't need to sign up ahead of time. I might try to do that. But I'll probably stream tomorrow, and then either Thursday or Friday. I might drive back down to my sister's for the holiday weekend. That's what my omnidirectional treadmill is. I've been playing around with my virtual reality headset for that, and I did figure out a couple ways to make the graphics better. Playing the Fallout 4 on the virtual reality headset, so that'll be nice. Once I drive over there this weekend, I'll probably be there for about a week. Get some work done building my rowing machine game controller, and then come back here. And then I've got like 2 or 3 comedy things scheduled for like the second week of June, like the 13th or something. So I'm not sure if it's nice out and there's people with their boats in the lake and whatnot. I might be at my sister's for the whole week, like 2 weekends in a row, and then drive back here. I'm not sure. I like to keep things open. I like to schedule a few comedy things in a row if I can, like in the same week. That way I have off weeks where I can either be here or be there, depending on how the mood strikes. Well, my Zwift character has super short shorts. If that was me, I think you'd see a fat roll below the shorts. Like saggy butt fat. But my character looks pretty ripped. I'm not quite sure why that is. So I'm almost done with 2 miles, so I'm a little ways over halfway done. I have a comedy podcast called Creativity Wasted, where I get other like amateur comics like me, and we talk about creative ideas like silly inventions and app ideas, movie ideas. I had a guy on named Aaron Sorrells. He lives in Grand Rapids near where my sister does. So the other side of the state from here. He runs a comedy club on Facebook. Meta virtual reality. What is it called? Meta Horizon Worlds. That's the name of the new Facebook virtual reality metaverse space. Apparently he got in early and he's helped him set up like a virtual comedy club. Like, I don't think he gets paid by them. Maybe he does. But he like set it up so that there's like a force field so people can't rush the stage, and if people start to tell racist jokes, the MC/moderator can stab them with a sword, he said, and kick him off the stage. So one of the days this week I might check that out. Apparently that runs 24/7. The virtual comedy club in Horizon Worlds is called Soapstone Virtual Comedy Club. But the way that the Horizon Worlds works is that you create like a virtual space, and if too many people, if it fills up, it just creates a duplicate one. And so there could be, like during prime time, there could be like 4 or 5 virtual comedy clubs all at the same time with different comics performing. And then he also, sometimes he has headliner comics, like not just open mics, like booked shows in the evenings. So I've been meaning to check that out. I might do that soon. I probably won't do it tonight because I don't want to do my stand-up loud in my apartment like after 10 and piss off my neighbors. I might do it at like 8, like before I work out. I thought that was kind of cool. Normally my podcast, we just talk about like ideas, like things we're not actually doing. But this is a thing that he's actually doing. And I didn't ask him if he makes any money doing it. I think his goal is like, if he can maintain, because apparently the Soapstone Comedy Club is like one of the most popular spots in all of the Facebook metaverse. So if he can maintain that leadership spot I think the idea is that eventually it's like having a early YouTube channel, he said. Like, the first YouTubers, they didn't make any money, but then eventually it got monetized. So I think his plan is like not to piss off Facebook and to like keep people going to his comedy club and not like some Facebook created comedy club, or like if a like the Comedy Store, like a real life comedy club decided to go to Facebook Worlds, I think he would want to try to compete with them, being that he's there first. And if he can maintain that leadership spot as it grows, I think that's his plan, to like be a business owner, like a small business owner in the metaverse, and make a living off of it. And I hope he does. It's kind of cool. That being said, maybe I go into Horizon Worlds and I think the whole thing sucks. I don't know. Before he mentioned that, I didn't really have any urge to do it. Like all of those, like VR chat and those metaverse things where it's not a game. You just go in there and talk, and you have an avatar that you can spend forever building, and for what reason, I don't know. I just never really had the urge to do that. But I like playing a game in VR, like Fallout. To me, that seems fun. If you could make my idea of a fun VR thing would be like if you could go in there and find your friends and like go together, enter the Fallout universe, and then together, okay, we're bored of that, let's go to the Tony Hawk skate park and we'll all skate together. And it's like a metaverse that seamlessly lets you move from game to game with your friends. And you'd probably have a similar, or this same avatar that you might have to like change his clothes. Like if you're skating, you might have to put on whatever skater gear is on your avatar. Or if you're going to like some sort of a James Bond game at like a evil henchman's lair or something, your avatar would have to have a suit. But to me, that's what the metaverse should be. But it seems like with these VR chats and stuff, it's like they seem to think they just plop some barren space that all you do is talk, and they expect people to be interested in that. I mean, the comedy club, it makes sense. It has a function. It's not just randomly running around and talking with groups of people who could be random 10-year-old boys that spout racist shit, and then a guy from Sweden who doesn't speak English, and like, how do you even find your friends? I don't know. I guess maybe there's regulars if you do it long enough, and then you make friends and you see, okay, let's all come back to this spot at this time. But even then, you come back to that spot at that time. What do? Just talk? I don't know. I think they should don't even release it unless you've got like 40 things to do. Like the comedy club is 1 out of 40. To me, it's totally useless unless it has 40 fun things to do. because you as an individual might only care about 3 of those 40 things. Like a gambling room, comedy club, Fallout type shooter game, maybe a carnival game space, or you bet Bitcoin or something on fake carnival games. Maybe a obstacle course type game. Maybe like sports, bumper cars, racing, sailing, since I'm seeing sailboats. Like, and all of those would have their own game rules. It wouldn't be just like a sailboat in an ordinary physics engine that it's not gamified at all. It would have its own game rules. But yeah, they just think they can spew any old virtual space with nothing to do out and expect people to just flock there. Like, if you build it, they will come. It's a stupid idea, I think. So I've had no interest in VR chat type things. Even Zwift can use Zwift in it. Like a workout space in the Horizon Worlds. I don't know. Maybe they have like 5 things to do. Comedy club and then some other things I'm not aware of. I would like them to start just gobbling up old games and throwing them in the Omniverse or the Metaverse. Like, okay, this week now you can build your own house in Fallout 3. And it's got like some randomly generated Fallout 3 map that's like endlessly huge. With just randomly spawned enemies, and you can find your friends. And it's got the factions, and maybe you pick like a city name in the US, like you're in Denver now. But it's all sort of randomly generated, and then okay, Zelda from NES. Now that's in the Metaverse as part of Horizon Worlds, and you and your friends can just boom, now you're in that. Your avatars just get it's like the Horizon Worlds is like a base jump off point to just load other games to pop your avatars into. To me, that's what it should be. I realize that's probably super hard to do, but it seems like maybe people have that in mind, but maybe I don't think they do. I think they want to just create these stupid Lego-like Minecraft worlds without shit to do in them. And that's as big as they see. That's their vision. I'm not impressed. Well, I'm sweating into my eyes. Well, I haven't had to pee yet, so maybe my body reabsorbing the pee water theory is true. Like if you start to get dehydrated and you have to pee, your body reabsorbs the water so you can sweat it out to cool down. That's my theory. I don't know enough about biology to know if it's true. But it would explain why I haven't had to pee yet, given that I'm sweating. So I'm streaming this with Restream. And so it streams it to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time. And the one thing I hate about Restream is for the interface for the streamer. You can either see chat or you can see the number of how many people are in the stream, but you can't see both at the same time. So I have no idea if nobody says anything. I have no idea if anybody's even watching. I guess the idea is if you have a popular channel, it doesn't really matter because people are always blabbing on. Or I can get my mouse and I can check, but yeah, maybe one person. Hello, if you're the one person who's there on Twitch. Yeah, well, so this experiment here, this Gaming McFitness thing, it has kept me working out. I haven't lost any weight, but I'm probably fitter than I would be if I didn't do it. So I guess that's a win. $9.52. I thought I would be done by now. I must have did the math wrong. Oh, yeah, I did it a little wrong. So I'll probably be done in about, instead of taking 50 minutes total, like 70 minutes, 65 minutes. So I've got maybe 10 more minutes, 10 to 12 more minutes to go. Well, actually, no, it would be more like 15. Because I have 1 mile to go. 18 more. So if I got 1 mile to go and I'm going about 18-minute miles, that means I've got 18 minutes left. I really don't feel like doing it another 18 minutes, but I guess I will. I don't know why they didn't make it an even 5K. They made it like 3.5 miles instead of a 5K, which is like 3.1. Why did they make it such a weird number? The way I'm holding these handles sort of loosely with the top of my fingers, I think I'm going to start to get a blister. Yeah, when I play the video games, I hold on to it tighter and I go slower so it doesn't bother my hand as much. But when I'm doing Zwift, I'm like letting go and I'm just constantly pounding on the handle with like step, 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 step. Because it's a little too low, I think is the reason. I'm a little too tall. I can't get constant grip on it without like slouching a little bit like this. And so I don't do the full grip. I do like a partial finger grip. Just a little too tall for this treadmill. If I gain too much weight, I'll be past the upper weight limit for the treadmill too. I'll be walking and it'll just start smoking and it'll just putter out. It'll make like a animal dying noise. Like, I just can't handle this much weight. I'll just die. Well, maybe it was more than 3.5 miles. Maybe it was a 4-mile run, or 3.9 miles, or 6K. I'm not sure. But it says I have 0.8 to go. So that means it's like 3.83 miles total-ish. But if I finish it, the thing with the plastic charity that I'm running for, the Reebok thing, if you do, for the next 2 weeks, if you do 20K runs total, they donate a certain amount to charity. And if you do like 5K, which I'm almost up to 5K already, it's like a quarter as much. But I don't think they donate anything if you run less than 5K. But it's not a huge donation. It's like, okay, we'll pull 10 bottles out of what if you run 20K. So it's like one guy doing like 10 minutes of work is what they donate, which is probably like, if you get like minimum wage-ish, maybe a little more, like $10 an hour. If he's picking up bottles for 15 minutes, it's like they're donating $2. So it's not a great, I guess it's better than nothing, but it's not like a charity run, like a local thing through a workplace where people will donate like $1 a mile or something. It's like one of the stupid charity giveaways, or it's like a, oh, you collect 20,000 tickets at Chuck E. Cheese and you get one stuffed bear or something. It's like that. It's like a pretty flimsy donation. But it's something to do if I'm going to be exercising anyway. Caused me to push it a little harder, I guess. And it's for all types of runners, not just Zwift runners. So if 250,000 people do it, I guess it's not completely trivial. Probably much less than what Mr. Beast did. So Reebok will donate maybe 1/10 of what Mr. Beast, an individual YouTuber, did to clean the oceans, is my guess. Totally blind guess. I haven't heard anything about that Mr. Beast Team C's if they actually achieved their goal. I watched that YouTuber boxing. I didn't pay for the pay-per-view, but they released it on YouTube for free yesterday. So I watched it. I skipped a couple of the fights. The one I loved was the first one. This guy named Dad. Because he's such a character. That dude who got beat up by Dad. I would be that dude. Like, not get a single punch in. Half a mile to go. About 10 more minutes. I've already gone 5K. I don't know what that logo is on this back, my avatar's back. If that has something to do with Adidas or Reebok or whatever. Maybe Kanye West or some random NBA player threw shit on a piece of paper and came up with some ugly design and this is what we're going to use. Or the guy in the t-shirt factory dropped the t-shirt on the floor and it got run over by like a high-low. And that was the track that it left on the back. And it was like, his boss was like, oh, you need to turn in the design right now. And he was like, oh, this is it. This like track on the back of the t-shirt. And the boss was like, I love it. Perfect. Or it's like meant to represent like the rib cage or the spinal cord. Like you're a skeleton. Like it's part of or the guy in the Reebok factory is like, it's Halloween and his design is due. And he's like, oh, I'll just take this skeleton Halloween shirt and I'll rip the sleeves off. And this is the design. Not sure what I'm going to do tonight after I finish workout. Got to edit my podcast a little bit. I think this week's episode will be a quick edit. Maybe I'll work a little bit more about trying to get the Fallout game to run better on VR. I saw online there's like a developer mode that like turns the resolution way up. I think you need to be plugged in with like a data cable. So if I get that to work, I would have to figure out for my omnidirectional treadmill how to have the headset connected to a data cable and not get tangled up in it or whatever. The whole reason I bought that newer headset is because it was wireless, so I wouldn't have to worry about the cable. If it makes the game like a lot better, I might figure out how to use the cable. Because I was having trouble. It was so jumpy and the graphics were so bad I couldn't see where the bullets were going. So I was like getting killed by bloat flies and shit. It's humiliating. I have figured out how to get it so I can at least, as of yesterday, I can at least see where the bullets are going enough to that I could shoot things if I was close and actually hit them. And it's not jumpy, hardly at all. I was still dying, but the Pip-Boy is a total mess in the VR. Like you literally have to hold your wrist up. And it's like I couldn't get the Pip-Boy to like face me, so I'm reading it right side up. It would only go like to sideways, so I'm trying to read it sideways, and there's somebody shooting at you. And then I couldn't figure out how to press the button to release the Pip-Boy to move. So I was just standing there getting shot because I couldn't figure out how to exit the Pip-Boy. Because you've got to press a little power button on your wrist, like the virtual power button of the Pip-Boy. But when they show the screen of the Pip-Boy, they make it super big so it covers up the power button. So I'm like pressing through the screen to try to find the power button to release the Pip-Boy so I can shoot the enemy. And of course I couldn't find it and I just got killed. I wasn't streaming that. But yeah, it's kind of a mess. You can make the Pip-Boy smaller, but then you can't read it. But maybe if I bump up the resolution with the developer mode, then I can make it smaller and actually read it, so then I can see the power button. So I don't die for stupid reasons. Plus the game Fallout is just harder in VR because the Pip-Boy doesn't pause time anymore. It's like Fallout 76. So if you're in a gunfight, you can't just pause it and go in your Pip-Boy and give yourself a bunch of stim packs and think about what you're going to do next, switch your guns. So that alone makes it a lot harder. But it's fun. a lot funner than this or that windbound game that I was playing. But yeah, you can't do VR on a normal treadmill. You'd fall so quick. I could probably do it sitting on the exercise bike and just pedal and just steer everything with my hands and just not even touch the handlebars of the exercise bike, but that's kind of a ridiculous way to work out while exercising. Almost done. 200 more feet. Ish. So I'll probably stream tomorrow, playing either Alan Wake or Tales from the Borderlands, and then once or twice more this week, and then I'll drive back to my sister's and then stream from the omnidirectional treadmill playing the Fallout. Sometimes it takes me a few days to get that set up, so it might not be until like Monday or Tuesday before I stream that of next week. But anyway, this is Gaming McFitness. Keep gaming, keep exercising. And if you want to make exercise less boring, try doing both at the same time. Good night. And there's the finish line. That was loud. Oh, it's Adidas, not Reebok. Got the name of the company wrong. Whatever. Both shoes that I don't give a shit about. Just I like that they're donating to charity. But, good night.